All right, we are starting right on time today, folks. My name is Jordan. This is Trevor Durfee. Welcome to the Sales Rabbit Show. We've got a lot prepared for you guys today, a ton of value we want to share with you and insights. We want to give everyone some time to jump in. I can see participants already filing in. If you guys could, as always, drop in the chat where you're coming from and what industry you're serving. We love to see all over the country where you guys are tuning in from today. And thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out to come and learn a little bit about a new strategy, a timeless strategy that has been around forever, but we are noticing the trends and we want to share what we have found with you guys. So let's give everybody some more time.
Got people jumping in.
Let's see, let me pull up the chat here.
We're excited to chat with you guys today. This will be good.
Ooh, if you're just jumping on, we're giving everyone a few minutes here. We'll probably get started maybe 5 or 6 minutes after the hour. So grab a drink, get comfy. Feel free to drop any questions into the chat as well. We want to answer questions as we go to help fuel creativity and intelligence in this discussion.
Did you already ask them? As you guys join in too, just mention your name, where you're from. We like to see where everybody's tuning in from.
There we go. We got some people from South Carolina, a couple out in South Carolina. And once again, feel free to drop any questions in the chat here before we get going here. Let's see, one moment. Looks like I've got the chat disabled. Let me see. Throw that open there. There we go. Renee, can you check and see if the chat is disabled? It looks like
there we go.
coming in. There we go. And the Q&A I'm seeing, but the chat itself.
Mike Jones from Fresno, welcome.
Mike and some Fresno Harness Power. What's up, guys? See that in the Q&A. Chat looks like it is disabled right now. We've got people trying to drop in on the chat. Looks like we've just got the Q&A screen open right now. Let me fix that. David Eddy. Chris, thank you for letting us know. And Power's in the house. What's up, Alicia?
Alicia, welcome.
Chris from Indiana, what's going on? Let's see here. Let's give everyone some more time to hop in here. As you guys are hopping in, though, we'd love to hear where you're coming from. Excuse me.
Chris from Indiana.
There we go. Looks like the chat should be open now. If you guys want to try dropping those into the chat, as well as any questions, feel free to use the Q&A board or the chat as well. We'll be keeping our eyes on both of those today. There we go. Looks like we got that chat opening up now.
Nice.
Brian Thompson out in Harrisburg.
Where's Harrisburg?
Florida, Jupiter, Florida, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I believe.
Pennsylvania, nice.
Eric Page, what up?
Jupiter, Florida's cool.
Atlanta, Georgia, hot Atlanta in the house. Phoenix, just as hot. What's up, Zach? Happy you guys are all here. Richard Harris out in Texas with the solar game. Solar's going crazy.
It really is.
Florida Solar with the dancing cha-cha. I like it. Vital Power, stand up Vital. We love you guys. Chris Atkins out in Indiana, doing big things out there. Oh, John, I see you out in Sun Solar Solutions. Carl, Bend, Oregon, special place in the solar industry. We got a lot of solar showing up today.
I love Bend, Oregon. You ever been there?
I have not.
It's beautiful.
Yet to visit. Let's give everyone just one more minute or two as we're hopping in. We got a good sized crowd today. Glad you guys could all be here with us. My name is Jordan.
I'm Trevor.
Trevor Durfee. Between the two of us, I think we've got what, 12, 13 years of door knocking experience before coming here to Sales Rabbit.
Like yeah,
across multiple industries. Yeah, about 7 myself.
7 yourself, yeah.
So that's in alarms. I did a little bit of pest control, alarms, and roofing. So we love what you guys do, respect what you guys do. And we're excited to share with you what we have planned for you today. We want to keep it just meat. We want to keep the fluff out. We want to make good use of you guys' time. Once again, for everyone just jumping in, we just had a big surge here. Go ahead and drop where you're from, your industry. And then once again, any questions as we're going through, feel free to drop questions. We're going to try our best to stop. And if not, at the end, we'll get to all the questions and make sure your guys' questions have been answered.
I have a teeny bit of fluff. We appreciate all y'all's time coming in, joining us to hear us out today. We just want to help your processes improve. and up your game a little bit with some of the features we have to offer. So we really appreciate you attending this.
Absolutely. Here at Sales Rabbit, your guys' growth is our growth, and we hope to see this as a partnership between you guys and us. You have a ton of vendors who provide different services or pieces of your tech stack, and we hope this is more than that. We hope to build a relationship where we can share insights, empower your guys' teams, and honestly elevate the industry is what we're seeing.
Make your reps more successful too.
Cool. So 106 guys, really appreciate once again everyone getting in. Let's settle in. Let's take a jump into the subject matter of what we're going to be covering today. We are going to be covering some different strategies per industries that you guys are serving. And we've noticed some trends here. We're fortunate enough to work with so many different clients across so many different industries that we get an inside look at the business on the ground and all the markets that you guys work in. And a trend that I have been focusing on heavily lately is employee turnover, right? Whether that's your reps are leaving your company for one reason or another, being recruited by another, systems and processes, cultures, leads, right? And what we're finding is there's a millennial workforce that is now entering into the space, right? You were mentioning earlier your dad
sold Tupperware door to door,
right? And so it's incredible. Door to door is timeless, but the way reps are working and knocking today, it's not the same way as your dad was knocking selling Tupperware back in the day, where your Sales Rabbit was a notepad, top over bottom.
Exactly right.
We're writing down street names, and there wasn't a lot of technology. And so what we want to focus on today is this trend or this idea around buyer propensity, right? And what does buyer propensity look like in these different industries? We want to dive into that specifically. If we were talking about roofing, it may be weather and pinpointing the eye of the storm, working the surrounding areas, putting together a report to tell a story to get a claim bought. We can talk about data grid, DGAI, and being able to look at homeowner specific demographic information and understanding who's behind the door before I ever even knock it.
Generating the ability to tailor my approach and my pitch to who's behind that.
Absolutely. But today, drum roll, we are talking about a very special strategy.
This is awesome.
And this strategy is built around people moving into a home, right? This idea of buyer propensity and what you like to call it.
Buyer momentum.
Buyer momentum.
Kind of a coin phrase. I don't think it's a thing, but I created it.
And I think from my experience and what I've seen is the alarm guys are the ones who I think really nailed the head on this and kind of 100%. Brought it to life. 100%. This idea of somebody just moving into a home.
Yep.
And this idea and the strategy behind it, if you could explain.
Correct. Yeah. So first, let's go back to buyer propensity a little bit. Buying a home. I purchased a home, been several years ago now, but when I bought my home, I spent more money than I thought I was going to after closing costs and everything like that. I was trying to turn my house into a home. We got a new bed set. We got a sofa. We got a recliner. The point that I'm making is there was a lot that went into my home that I didn't really prepare for, but we were still saying yes to certain things because we were turning our house into a home. Along those lines, I had my set of preferences moving into our house. My wife hated this at the time, but I wanted a TV, a really cool TV with a nice sound setup. So we went to the furniture store, looked at a TV, and I had a good salesman. And he upsold me easy on a soundbar. You want the full Cinemax experience? Check this out. I can give you 10% off on this soundbar if you get it with your TV today. Easy deal. Done diddly. Of course I wanted that. And I was just so used to saying yes, settling in, making sure all the sticks were right in my nest to make sure it was comfortable, exactly the way I wanted it. It was a fresh start. So that's where I came up with the term buyer momentum. We put a lot down with closing costs and with our down payment and then furnishing the home, et cetera. I think sometimes reps, correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan, or if you have a differing opinion, but sometimes reps, if they hear, oh, we just moved in, there might be a little misconception. Oh, they just spent a whole bunch of money. Why are they going to want my product? Well, it's just because of that. They're turning their house into a home. So we capture these individuals and become a part of the property as they're settling. So we've seen a huge increase on penetration with individuals like this in situations.
And at face value, that's what I would think. But for any rep or any manager that's been out there and who's knocked into someone who says, oh, we just moved in 2 weeks ago. And you'll see what that buyer momentum looks like, right? And so for the alarm space, super advantageous for somebody to move into a fresh neighborhood. You're the face on the doorstep. You've got all the neighbors' information, and I'm the one that takes care of this in your neighborhood.
So I have a story. Now going off of buyer momentum into the alarm industry with this specific strategy and how it's branching over several different industries and proven to be extremely effective and lucrative. I was selling door to door, again, alarms. And we went on we're from Utah, and in Utah, it's a little bit more seasonal than some of maybe where you're at. But we would go on blitzes during the preseason just to stay sharp and train new reps, whatever. And we went to a place in Chicago, and I went into this neighborhood, and there was a whole bunch of competing signs. I was a switchover guy to some degree. There was a bunch of competitor signs in this area. So I thought maybe this was a little bit of a gold nugget. The first door I knocked, Jordan, the guy was like, "Oh, you're here about our alarm? Oh, you're the new guy." And I was like, "New guy?" And I probably discovered a little bit further. And he let me know when the development was developed, when it was built, some individual from this competing company came in and serviced them to protect their home. This is where the new movers is very advantageous, very beneficial. So anyways, back to the story. I talked to the guy and he says, yeah, he basically set up everybody in the neighborhood. And I heard a slot machine in my head, ching. Okay, here we go. Well, yeah, we're the new guy. You're going to be with a different company. And this is what it looks like. It was all compliant. But the fact of the matter has it, that individual became a part of that community. And then I took that position when I came in, once all of them came out of contract. And I think I sold 13 in 3 days.
Massive day.
It was awesome. It was really, really cool. But what I found was they were just accustomed and used to certain repairs. I mean, you got to change your air filter. You got to change this. You got to do that. There's certain maintenance and upkeep that's required when you own a home. And when you first buy that home, you're very conscientious of it. What does my warranty look like? What is the foundation, the concrete? Like, what is everything? What's covered, right? How do I protect my home with an alarm system? I need TV. I need internet, right?
Yeah.
So then
I
it
see
goes
right
into
here, you
different
got Joe
industries.
right here mentioning he works in South
Exactly.
Carolinas, right? And this strategy
I love
is
this.
so meaningful, right? Because what we've done is now the business process is flipped,
I love that comment.
right? Because now what you're going to do if you're in telco, you're going to go knock the door of the person who just sold their home and closed on, right? And you're going to catch that homeowner before they move on to their next place. And you knock on that door exactly. Hey, we're moving. Well, perfect. Where are you moving to? We need to set you up with internet, cable, right, at your new place. And then, a week or two later, when that new buyer comes in, boom, right there. You're turning your house into a home.
And the other thing too, what Jordan's touching on, we'll get into the configuration of this feature in just a second to show you how powerful it can be specific to your use case and how manageable it actually is. But what Jordan's suggesting is we can talk to individuals before they move. We can understand that house just listed, it just closed. We make contact with the movers, and now we can see where they're moving and service them, as well as discover if they understand or know who the people moving in are. And we can service them as well as they make their entry.
I think the telco strategy is really, really nice, being able to double dip on each and every single one of these leads. Another big part of this game is we've seen the solar industry really, really dive in and crack the new move-in process.
Huge.
Reps nowadays, depending on what market you serve and what installs look like or permitting, typically what I'm seeing is reps are usually waiting about a month, right? Month and a half to wait that first power bill so we can get some usage. They get that bill or document that then enables them to set that appointment and dive in to be able to close that deal, right? But people moving from a new neighborhood to a new home, being able to trust somebody who's done the other projects in the neighborhood seemed to prove very, very powerful.
Huge. Right? And when this product was released, it's been a surprise to me, I guess ignorantly, that solar has made such a boom on this particular feature because of the fact we do need a utility bill. We need to have been there for at least 30 days to get that generated. But if we can get there right about the time they receive that, and again, that's part of the configuration and the controllability that we have with this feature that we'll display here in just a second, but it gives you that edge, exactly the time that you need to be there to make that a possibility.
So let's take a look at configure. Then I kind of want to dive in and see what this looks like for your reps while they're using it in the field. So
let's check
I'll
out the
pop this open here,
configuration.
Trevor, if you want to speak to this.
Y'all can see our screen, I'm certain. Here's the setup, and this is where we find the control. I know door-to-door companies and different groups have a preference on demographic. Do you like to knock in this class or this class or this class as far as demographic goes? We can control that. But if we look at this mover setup, what I was referencing about the solar industry specific, first what we do is we select an event. And the event is whether the home just closed, it's under contract, or it just listed, whatever the case might be. Then we see the frequency, whether it's real time, daily, weekly, or monthly. And this is how often we're pinging the MLS systems. Once we get that data and information, then we have a lead delay, which will make more sense in just a sec. Jordan's going to get on his mobile app here and display what that looks like as far as the lead generation as we receive these. You can have a day, a week, a month to the solar companies. That's where the control really took place and where we've seen the biggest impact. They can be there right there that day if we have that data and information. Property type, is it residential? Is it commercial, townhomes, condos, whatever? We have the control there too. And then at the end of the day, we have property value ranges. Again, demographic preference. We can select homes that range from $150,000 to $350,000, 350 to 1.2 million, whatever the case might be. And those are what's going to be pinged from the MLS system into your Sales Rabbit account to generate these leads, demographically speaking. So it's really preferred per your use case. And at the end of the day, we assign zip codes to Sales Rabbit users. We want to manage these leads. These are money. So we want to make sure that we really get every drop of juice out of the squeeze. And the way we do that is we make sure that we assign these correctly. So in other words, we could have a manager or two or three, whatever, or an owner receiving these leads and then distributing them downwards to their reps as they come in. Maybe use it as an incentive. This is kind of low-hanging fruit, and it's kind of exciting to get assigned a territory and see, I have 7 new mover leads in this territory that I'm expected to knock for the next week or two.
I've seen the incentive play work really well for companies where they are purchasing these leads, and the top 5 reps of the previous week are then going to get the next week's mover leads. And I've seen a lot of incentive and competition and cool culture be built around that.
Yep. It creates a lot of visibility too, don't you think, Jordan?
Absolutely.
Because it helps you understand, like, it's not just another neighborhood. It's not so dormant anymore. It's kind of exciting to see, hey, I sold 3 of the last 7 that I got, and I have 4 in this area. I'm going to go knock those immediately.
Well, it's not like reps aren't already thinking this intuitively, right? Their instincts are spot on, whether they're on Zillow or Redfin, and they're manually exporting these leads or putting them into Sales Rabbit. We want to find these people and talk to these people because of the buyer propensity.
Yep.
So mover setup, let's actually dive in. I'm going to share my screen here, and I want to show you guys the actual visual of what this looks like.
You're going to love the way this looks, I guarantee it.
In the streets, right? So I've got my iPad pulled up there, and what you are seeing there are those purple moving trucks. These are going to be the mover leads. And like Trevor said, we can assign zip codes to individual reps. So if I zoom out here, you're going to see this is going to be the city of Lehigh. And I've got all these mover leads, right? So either it's to each individual rep, or we're siloing all the leads in one bucket, and then we're redistributing. But let's say I've got a rep working this area up here, right? One cool thing that I like about this is if I only wanted to work new mover leads, or if these were spread out over a large space or a few cities, reps are loving being able to just come in here and go ahead and create a route, right? I can create a new route. And what this is going to do is I've got my starting address, my ending address. And then if I had to drive to each of these to hit, it's going to go ahead and calculate the fastest way. I can avoid tolls, what's going to be the most efficient. I can route that. I just need to fit in my address here.
Jordan, as you knock doors, you name dropped a lot, right?
Always.
You ever knock in the South?
Of course.
So in the South, it's very hospitable. Southern hospitality is a real thing. Or people from Georgia, and you know what I'm talking about. But what's cool is we name drop when we knock doors. And what this does for us is it gives us the opportunity to introduce a new move-in to maybe a long-term resident in this community and get some reach out by name dropping. Have you had a chance to meet the Joneses? Well, they just moved in like a week ago. You should go say hi. Jerry Jones, he's a Cowboys owner. He's really cool. But you should go say hi to him and see what you think. And then this is what we did for him, though. And while we were in the area, we thought we'd just stop by and chat with you and just see what you thought. So another strategy to be implemented there as well.
Right. And whatever I'm selling, if I were to hit this new mover lead, and I know that this was just closed, I definitely want to knock this, figure out the information about the home. And then I'm going to maybe want to cloverleaf a few homes around as well, maximize my time here at the property, and then move on to my next lead. Anything else you want to add to that before we jump in and explain the pricing?
No, that's really good. It's a pretty simple strategy.
Other thing I will show is on the data that is being passed by. If you guys are using Data Grid currently to get that demographic info, I'm going to have all these homeowners' names and all the info, right? I'll have the previous homeowners' info, but the lead itself, the info that's going to pass along is going to be the MLS status, the property type, the footage, the sold price, and then the list date, right? Those are going to be things that are going to be passed on. But I'm always leveraging that old homeowner's name. I'm leveraging the neighbors' names. I'm making myself a part of the property, and I'm becoming the mayor of this neighborhood while I'm doing this.
Mayor Lou.
One thing about pricing we're going to say is our pricing, we've had this out for probably about a year now, and all the clients that have been purchasing this, they love the pricing. It's competitive, but one thing that was confusing was just the structure, right? Whether it's license-based, subscriptions-based. So what we've done here is we've simplified the pricing to make it even easier to get your hands on these leads, and they actually became more affordable. So there's really not a bad reason not to jump on or dip your toes in on something like this. The way that it's going to be working, is we've got our per month billed annually and our per month billed quarterly. So each of you guys are on different subscriptions, depending on what you chose when you signed up. But the way it works is we've got 1,000 leads, 3,000 leads, 7,000 leads, and then there's a plus, right? More of a custom if you guys are just running through these and this is your whole strategy. And I've seen it go both ways, where companies are just primarily exclusively working these types of leads, and others are salt and pepper here and there, cold canvassing, the more traditional methods. But the way it would work is per month billed annually, you're looking at $199. That's for 1,000 leads per month,
per year,
per year billed annually, right? And then we just scale up to 3,000 all the way up to 7,000. So we've made it super, super easy.
A lot more simplified.
But that is the mover strategy in a nutshell.
And I think with this too, what it does is it paints a picture around a potential of a return on investment. If you look at those prices and you understand what it costs per lead, and then you do the calculations, if I sell 3 or 4 of these deals out of X amount that I get per rep, all of a sudden you're getting your money back. There's a return on an investment now. This is no longer an expense to you. So we up the game for you guys and improve the experience of your reps.
Yep. Not a question, but a good comment from Brian. He talks about a big upside to selling solar in New Mexico. And in different markets, there's different calculators, load calculators that can help estimate usage, other areas in the home. So sometimes these solar reps are able to show up, a day or two after the new homeowners moved in, and they're able to put together a proposal based off existing usage. So depending on the markets you're in, you could show up and be the ambassador for the neighborhood and welcome them to the neighborhood.
And again, we tailor fit it to your use case. So like in Florida or California, you wouldn't need that 30 days.
Right.
And we fixate that to your use.
Pricing work if you have a subscription through your company. So if you did want it through the add-on, you would just go ahead and reach out to us or to our team. And then the pricing would be, with its annual, you'd have that first tier pricing, which was at, pull that up here.
Pull it back up.
Caught me on my toes. We actually just redid our pricing, like I said, to make it even better. So $199 would be, if you're on an annual plan, that'd be for 1,000 leads per month. And you would just add that to your subscription. If you're being billed quarterly, right, you don't get as big of a discount. It's $279 for those 1,000 leads per month, right? And we really, really love to see people on annual. You get a ton of savings if you do switch, just depending on where you're at with your billing cycle. We want to answer any other questions that you guys have. You guys were a pretty easy group. What we're talking about today, I think it makes a ton of sense. And we're just seeing it work. Our clients that are diving in on this, we're seeing great results. And so that's why it gets us so excited to share this with you.
Yeah. There's an old cliche saying, if you're not first, you're last. And this product really puts that into live action. We have the ability now to be first. We introduce them basically to their property. It still smells new to them, House isn't quite a home yet, and it gives us the edge there for sure, which is something that as a rep, previous door-to-door salesman, I like any edge I can find. So this is something that's very advantageous for you.
Okay. The one thing I want to say before we sign off is we want to talk to you guys. So we're going to be dropping links to schedule meetings with us, whether that's an account review, just to talk strategy, talk shop about your systems and processes and where Sales Rabbit fits in. Whether you do want to take a look at any new products or strategies that we might have to share with you, guys, please click the link, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever you guys want to do. Let us get to know you better. Let's continue building this relationship, and let's make sure you're getting the most out of your Sales Rabbit experience.
100%. What time do we got right now?
1:24.
Let's have you guys, if you guys have any questions specific why we're here on this webinar, please chime in the chat, and we would love to address those real quick about this specific feature. Looks like we just got one.
Let's see here. Throw them in the chat, guys, if you can. Oops.
The data is being gathered. A question just came in. Where's the data being gathered? It's from the MLS systems across the country.
Yep. And that's being pinged every 5 minutes too. So if you guys are in real time, I've got some reps who are just getting leads, boom, boom, depending on how many zip codes that are being put in for them.
Exactly.
Really, really good question.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Keep them coming. If you guys have any, if you guys are easy group, it means you guys loved what you had to see today.
Told you.
So for me, I don't have, so Chris Hayes asked, you mentioned different tools to estimate power usage. Do you have any recommendations? Off the top of my head, I don't. I just know that it is possible in certain markets through some of the clients that I've spoken to. But that's something I do want to get an answer to. So
good question.
Really good question. I'm going to get an answer to that, be able to provide that to clients when we get on calls. Of course, Carl. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, Carl. And Carl, if you want to schedule a time with us, give us a couple of days to do some research on that. We can kind of collaborate around that idea. this has been good. I've seen a lot of results come from this product. A lot of our best in class customers are utilizing this feature and are seeing real results. So proof's in the pudding, as they say.
Cool. Well, we will give you guys some time back. It's been a pleasure to speak with you here today.
Really appreciate it.
We hope you guys all have an incredible week. And please, like I said, click the link. There'll be emails. Let's chat. Like I said, we'd love to get to know you.
Let's go.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.